Guru Nation, welcome to episode 199 of Random Musings from the Clinical Trials Guru. This is Dan Sfera. I'm very excited about my upcoming conference in October. So it's exactly a year from now, October 2019. We're going to be doing it in Orlando. We have the Kickstarter going right now. We're only trying to raise $25,000. That's it, to book the entire hotel, the rooms, the exhibit hall. It's going to be great. All right, Orlando Renaissance SeaWorld Hotel, October 4th through 7th in Orlando, Florida. So check out the show notes for ways to contribute to the Kickstarter. I know you already heard it in the intro, but you're going to get tons. You can, not only can you apply that towards the discounted rate or just outright purchase your tickets for the event, for the 4-day event, but you can also get other things like website help, business card help, logo. There's so many perks and packages on the Kickstarter, so go check it out. I even do things like CV creation and preparation and review. So, and if you don't see something on there, just message me and we can barter. I'm trying to raise this money so we can do this conference. Today, let's get into the podcast. So this is episode 199. We're pushing 200. I think 200 will be tomorrow with Chris. Episode 200. Excuse me. So, had a busy day here in the clinic. Started screening patients again at one of my clinics. I'm getting deep into the quality assurance aspects of the studies. I'm getting my hands dirty again with the staff. We have some new staff at one of my sites, so I'm actually training them, grooming them to be coordinators, and then Monica and myself are working hand in hand to make sure that these visits are going according to plan. And there's always a learning curve. No matter how many years you've been doing clinical research, there's always a learning curve to a new protocol. Always. Every protocol is different. I've never seen two protocols that are the same. I've seen many similarities across the board, but never equivalent protocols. Never identical protocols. So that's good. That's been keeping me busy. Another thing has been the biotech that we're starting up. So we're launching an exosome company. We're going to go after the arthritis market first, and then we're going to go after oncology and psychiatry. So, I mean, this will be a huge project, and we're just getting the operating agreement and everything set up. So stay tuned for more info on that later. That's going to be, and I'm going to, of course, be blogging about that as we're going through the journey of biotech startup and then everything that entails. It's good. There's going to be tons of stories, tons of videos, tons of podcasts to discuss what's going on, and hopefully somebody out there can get some value out of it. So this one is really this one's going to be more for the sites and more about quality assurance, I think. So I did a short video on YouTube today and on LinkedIn about the importance of QA. And here's a take-home extremely practical application that every single person listening out there that is working at a research clinic or interning at a research clinic or wants to intern at a research clinic, here's something practical everyone should be doing. Okay, and it's quality assurance. So if you want to advance in this industry, or if you want to succeed in this industry, you need to constantly be doing things that are not asked of you. Okay, now don't get in trouble. Don't take my advice and go do something you're not supposed to do and get fired. But bring it up with your supervisor and tell them that you are able to, if you're a coordinator, you should be able to do this. You're able to look over, and even if you're not, let's say you're a clinical trial assistant, you can at least look at every source document to make sure headers are filled out properly. You can make sure that all corrections have been corrected as per Alcoa standards and as per good clinical practice. You can make sure that all regulatory documents are complete and filed properly. These kind of things don't take that much knowledge and expertise. Not everything. Now QA does, but you can always, no matter your level of expertise, find a way to contribute from a greater quality assurance macro perspective at a research clinic. So QA, this is something I'm practicing what I preach now. I'm back into doing the QA, at least at one of my sites. I can't really do this at more than one site. And I'm also monitoring. I have a contract monitoring gig. So that's actually honing my skills and refining my skills, because I understand what monitors are looking for. So it helps from a site level. And I know a lot of you people listening right now, because this is a podcast exclusive episode, a lot of you listening right now are monitors that have sites, your own sites, as a side gig. And this is one thing you can immediately bring to the table is your QA. I mean, that is worth its weight in gold if you can do that. So here's how you do it simply, okay? Let's say you have 2 coordinators. Or let's say you have you and another coordinator or an assistant, okay? Because I don't want people to complain, oh, Dan, I don't have the luxury of having 2 coordinators. Fine. You have yourself, or else you wouldn't be listening. That wouldn't be possible. And then you have, let's assume you have someone else, like a coordinator or an assistant that you're grooming to be a coordinator. Okay. When a study visit occurs, whomever is in charge of that protocol, complete the visit as per protocol, and fill out the source documents as per protocol, and then enter the data in the EDC. Have that other person, again, no matter their level of expertise, and I'm going to break it down for you exactly what you should do with a novice, with a moderately experienced assistant, and then with another coordinator. Okay, so with the novice, I would have the novice shadow you. I would have the novice enter the data after the visit has been complete. That's simple. You don't need an education to do data entry. Now, you're not asking this person to actually do the visit. You're doing the visit. They're shadowing you. Remember, these are novice. This is a novice person in this example. They're shadowing you, and then they're entering the data in the EDC. They're also looking for things like missing pages on the informed consent, missing pages on the source document. I mean, anyone can count. You don't need to have a lot of experience to count pages. All right, if an informed consent says 16 pages and page 12 is missing, but you're too busy so you don't realize that, your novice assistant can figure that out, okay? So have them do that. Have them look at the headers. Have them look at the informed consents. Have them look at the way people correct things on the source, or how you correct things on the source. Have them help with reminding the patient of their next visit. There's a lot of things that a novice researcher can help you with. As you groom this person, as this person starts doing more of these shadowings with you, starts entering the data in the EDC. They're not answering queries. They're just entering the data in the EDC. As they do more of that, they will soon become less novice, right? And then you can have them do more things. Like, you can actually have them complete some assessments from the study. You can have them start answering queries. You can have them start to meet with the CRAs. Maybe, and here's something that I know a lot of sites are not doing that is very helpful from a CRA perspective. Have the assistant because at every monitoring visit, there's action items from the previous monitoring visit. And the first thing the monitor is going to do when they come in is make sure that those action items from the previous visit have been completed. What your assistant can do, even if they're novice, is give that monitor, when she first arrives at the clinic for their monitoring visit, a summary of all the action items and then what's going on with them. Which ones are complete, which ones are not, why. Okay, and any other questions. You don't need to be experienced to do this. Now you, as the experienced person, ideally you should do this with the monitor, but let's say you can't, right? Well, this is perfect thing for your assistant to be helping you with. You, the day before, have to give them a list of all the action items and or even have them. I mean, it'd be a good exercise to go through the monitoring letter, the follow-up letter from the last visit, and have them spend about 3 hours if they have to with them, not you. You have them look at those action items and try to see if those action items have been completed or not. That's a great exercise, a great training exercise for people that you're grooming to be study coordinators. Then they'll be more familiar with the material, and then the next day, ideally, so you want to ideally do this the day before the monitor comes in. The next day, this person can introduce the monitor with a summary of the action items. I mean, that's one way to turn somebody from a novice into not a novice in 3 months, maybe even less, right? Once they get more experienced, you can have them do more things. You can have them answer queries in the EDC. Maybe they're simple queries to answer. Maybe they're not. You can have them look into the protocol and decide, along with you and the PI, of course, the appropriate action for a specific visit or an assessment or the way you would record something as per Alcoa or good clinical practice purposes. Once this person goes from moderately experienced, so 3 to 6 months now, to experienced 6 months or more, okay, you can have them now. Ideally, they've been groomed to be a coordinator at this point. You can have them do a QA visit prior to a monitoring visit on all the study visits. But what's even easier than that is they can do a QA of your most recent patient visit. So let's say the patient comes in at 9. You do all the you complete the visit. Your assistant, who's now another coordinator, is going to enter data, is going to probably help you out, but you're still doing most of it because you're probably the primary coordinator. Your backup coordinator, when the visit is over, can do a QA check of your source documents. And you should have checklists of what they're looking for. Not just simple things like headers and SDV type of stuff, which is source data verification, because that they're ideally already doing that when they're entering the data in the EDC after the visit, which, by the way, should be done within 24 hours of the visit, preferably the same day the visit occurred. The data should be entered in the EDC. So while they're entering it, they can do source data verification, which is part of quality assurance. But they can take it a step further and do source data review, which is actually looking at reading between the lines, looking at the protocol, looking at the inclusion-exclusion criteria, looking to see if any adverse events were missed, looking to see if, God forbid, any serious adverse events were missed, looking to make sure everything for that visit was done according to protocol. That source data review, that takes expertise. You can't do that as a novice. You can do source data verification as a novice. You can't do source data review as a novice. And then vice versa. If this coordinator is now experienced and is doing QA for every visit that you're the primary coordinator on, you or somebody else should be doing QA on every visit that they're the primary coordinator on. So This is the way QA should go at sites from a very practical standpoint. Now, I know some of the bigger sites have dedicated QA people and that's all they do. That's kind of like what I'm doing at my site right now. We have primary coordinator, we have a research assistant, we're grooming to be a coordinator, and we are soon to have a third research assistant, or a second research assistant, a third personnel come in, and we're going to groom them. So I am the fourth person in this scenario outside of the PI, and I'm doing the QA. So some sites have dedicated QA people. It doesn't matter how you do it. The way I just outlined it in this first 15 minutes of this podcast is the most practical way to do it. But whatever works for you as long as it's getting done. Because here's what we're trying to avoid. We're trying to avoid monitors finding out your errors that you're making rather than you finding out your errors and then correcting them before it becomes a big deal. Okay? That's the whole point of QA. You have multiple people looking at the same data sets and confirming that everything's complete and accurate. Alcoa. Everything in Alcoa. Attributable, legible, contemporaneous, original, accurate, dash, complete. That's Alcoa-C now. Okay, so that's QA in a nutshell. Now, here's the benefits of doing this. I mean, they should be obvious from a site operations perspective. You're going to make less errors. You're going to keep sponsors happy. You're going to get repeat business. But it also makes the actual workflow more efficient. Because if you have this set up properly, you can actually do more work. You're streamlining the work at this point. Okay, because you have somebody who's a backup doing the QA. While that person's doing the QA, theoretically the visit's already finished. The primary coordinator can be doing something else productive, meaning income generating activity, hopefully, okay, in the form of pre-screening, in the form of conducting another visit. It could be anything, okay? So it frees up your time by just tweaking your operations a bit. Now, here's why it's good, and here's why it should be motivational for you non-site owners, but employees, because I know there's a lot of you guys and gals listening. You should be putting this on your CV, especially for those of you that want to be CRAs. There's tons of you. I know I have talked to so many study coordinators who have years, 5 years or more of study coordinating experience, and they're not getting CRA offers. They're not getting CRA jobs, and they're applying for CRA jobs. And when I ask them to send me their CV to see why, I see why. They don't put any of their transferable skills, i.e. quality assurance, on their CV. They don't articulate that they know how to do that. So whoever's looking at the CV assumes they don't have any expertise in QA. Maybe they were just a coordinator in a very compartmentalized clinic and all they did was coordinate. If you are doing QA, you need to put that on your CV. That is a transferable skill. What do you think at the end of the day a CRA is doing? It's quality assurance. That's what they're doing. If you are a coordinator and you're doing that and you have that skill, make sure it's on your CV, especially if you want to be a CRA. Make sure it's on your CV and then make sure you articulate it when you are in the interview. So that's QA in a nutshell. Hopefully you get some value from this. Everyone will benefit from this if done the right way. It's very tempting to forego this because QA is not an income generating activity. But it's a good way for a backup coordinator or someone you're grooming to be involved, even if they're just looking at headers or counting pages or filing things in the regulatory binder. Somebody's contributing to the overall macro picture of that complete study visit. And that's really what we're trying to get at. So thank you very much for listening. Hopefully you get something out of it. Hopefully you apply it today or tomorrow, and catch you all later for episode 200. I can't believe it. Take care.